Sound Production. Sound Production. Sound Production.
Yes. What's going on, family? What's going on, guys? Welcome to today's stream with your boy Abel. Super excited to be here with every single one of you guys tonight. Welcome to the stream, family. Hope you guys are all having a phenomenal night. It is the start of another phenomenal week here. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm super excited for this week, family. All right, I have a feeling it's going to be a really good one. Right, so in the meantime, let's go ahead and see what we got in the chat with us today, family. Go ahead and drop those locations. Let me know who's with us tonight, family. We got Texas in the building. Los Angeles tapping in. St. Lucia in the building. Welcome, family. Welcome. Let's see who else we got. Baton Rouge in the house. Alabama in the house. Orlando, Florida. What is up? We got Georgia in the check-in. Vermont. We got Colombo, Sri Lanka. We got Denver on the check-in as well. Michigan, stand up. We got Trinidad, Tobago in the building. Bradenton, Florida. Melbourne, Australia. North Carolina. We got Vegas on the check-in as well. Welcome, family. Welcome. All right, super excited to be here with every single one of y'all. And as usual, you guys should know it's not just myself on the call. We do got the rest of the gang on with us today. Right, so my guys, shout out to the team. Shout out to my brothers, Kyle, Skaggs, Ray. How are you guys feeling tonight, man? I don't know about y'all, but I feel like it's going to be a phenomenal week this week. I could be talking to myself, but I feel like it's gonna be a phenomenal week. How you guys feeling?
I'm hyped. We got a lot of news this week too, so something's gotta shake. We also got NFP, if I'm not mistaken.
So you guys are feeling good, is what you're saying? Is that what you guys are saying?
Absolutely. Look at this bag, man.
Abso-freaking-lutely, family. Abso-freaking-lutely. All right, let's see. We got Stockton, California. We got Baltimore. We got Sean John in the building. We got Florida in the building. Southern California. El Paso, Texas. What is up? What is up? What is up? We got my little brother Danny in the building. What's going on? Good to see you, little bro. Secure profits on a Sunday. Can't complain. I love to hear it. I love to freaking hear it, right? But all right, let's go ahead and really get straight into this, family, right? Because as usual, this is our weekly overview, our weekly outlook that, myself and the rest of the team, we have been doing consistently here for you guys and on YouTube, for a little while now, guys, right? And the whole point of these calls is just to really give you guys an insight as to how we're going to be approaching the markets, right? It's not necessarily us. I was going to say it's not necessarily us calling trade ideas, but that boy Ray is a savage, right? He sees it. He's calling it out, right? So definitely be on the lookout for him if he has anything, right? But for the most part, guys, really just getting ourselves prepared for this up-and-coming week. All right, that's the main point of this call, getting us prepared for this up-and-coming week. And one of the best ways to do that is to definitely at least take a look at the calendar, see what we do got on the radar coming up. And, yeah, that's what we're going to go ahead and start off with, guys, is really looking at the fundamentals for this week. All right, so let's go ahead and start off on Tuesday. We do have the inflation report for the euro, right? Their inflation is expected to, stay above that 10%, which is absolutely crazy. We do got some GDP numbers coming out for the CAD as well on Tuesday. Going into Wednesday, guys, we have some more inflationary reports out of the Eurozone as a whole, which obviously that is, it's gonna be a big deal, right? Inflation has been out of control over there across the seas, and it doesn't look like there's any types of slowing down, right? It's just absolutely crazy how it's still above 10%. That's just insane, right? But besides that, we do have ADP employment change and GDP growth rate as well, followed by the jobs openings. And, Jerome Powell is also speaking on Wednesday, right? So Wednesday could be a very interesting one, guys. Now, on Thursday, we do have consumer confidence for the yen. I'm actually interested to see what that actually comes out as, especially with the Bank of Japan's policies and how destroyed their currency has been. It's interesting to see how much confidence they do have over there in terms from the consumer standpoint, right? But that's definitely something to keep your eyes on. We do have the unemployment rate for the euro as well on Thursday. On top of that, we do have some PMI data as well for the dollar on Thursday. So be mindful of those things, guys. And to end off the week, it's probably going to be the most volatile day is on Friday, right? And it's just because we do have non-farm employment, non-farm payrolls. We have the unemployment rate for the U.S. dollar and for the Canadian dollar as well. So that's definitely going to be an interesting news event. I'm probably going to be going live for sure on that day. We probably will go live actually as the whole team just to really see what the numbers come out as, right? To see if there is any type of reaction in the markets, guys, based off of the data. Right now, again, what have we been seeing across the board lately, right? We have been seeing, big time corporations, guys, like laying off left and right. We've seen, obviously, Twitter is, Elon kind of had no choice, right? Because he kind of had to like restructure things, but he laid off thousands and thousands of people, right? We're talking about Amazon laying off thousands and thousands of people, right? We're talking about a lot of these massive, massive corporations that are now laying off thousands and thousands of people. And it's because of what we've been talking about, right? This is something that should not come as a surprise for anybody that's been really on these calls with us for a while, because I've been talking about this personally for the past few months, right? I've been telling you guys that we're going to start to eventually see a company start to really, lay off a lot of their workforce, right? And it's because they kind of have no choice, because of how crazy inflation went, right? And not just that, but because of, how the Fed decided to respond to inflation, which was raising rates, right? Making the cost of everything, a lot more expensive, right? Making the cost of money increase tremendously. Okay, so yeah, it's affecting the bottom line for a lot of these businesses, right? So that's why we're seeing this, these layoffs occur, and I don't think it's going to end anytime soon, personally speaking. Now it's just a matter of seeing if the unemployment rate is actually going to really start to catch up with it, because we're starting to see a lot of layoffs. We should start to see the unemployment rate start to tick higher. Now, if we do start to see that, we got to really understand or try to figure out how the market is going to react to that. All right. Because right now, because of the state of the markets, because of overall conditions, we kind of want to see unemployment increase, right? Because that's going to help the bottom line of actually trying to get inflation under control, right? If there's less people employed, that means less spending is going to occur. Less spending that happens, guys, means there's a chance for inflation to continue to tick lower and lower, because that means that the demand for goods and services finally starting to dry up, right? So because of current market conditions in the current environment, seeing unemployment increase might actually bring some optimism. All right, it might actually really bring some strength for, indices, right? It might bring some strength, for a lot of these quote unquote riskier assets, these riskier plays, right? So that's something to keep in mind, guys, for Friday. I think if we come out higher unemployment, that is actually going to bring a bounce to the market. Right now, I could be completely wrong, right? But based on how I really understand these markets and from the fundamental perspective, it just makes so much sense because of the current market environment and conditions that we are currently at, guys. But overall, that is our news for the week. Like I said, it's going to be a very interesting week. I'm really interested to see what happens on Friday, though. Right now, let's see how you guys are feeling. Skags, Ray, how are you guys feeling, man? How are you guys feeling in terms of the news, in terms of data? I know you guys are definitely more, well, not Skags, but I know a lot of you guys are more technical, dominant. But what do you guys think about, the data for the week, the news for the week? Anybody got their own thoughts and opinions on it?
I mean, it's a pretty light week, nothing too crazy. I mean, we got Powell speaking, we got NFP, and Friday is usually a day off for me. NFP is what I put in my PTO for NFP usually. But if we are alive Friday, I'll hop on. We'll see what the data looks like, spot some opportunities maybe. But yeah, NFP is not really something I look at, but it will give us an insight to some stuff moving into December. So the result itself will be semi-important. But I'm really just excited to see what Powell has to say, because that might sway some of my next moves for the week or two as we move closer to that next December Fed meeting. For those of you guys maybe that are new to the stream, and first off, if you guys are here brand new, if it your first time on stream, just drop a 1 in the chat. Let us know you guys are new and tuning in with us. But if you guys have been here for some time, you guys know the December 14th Fed meeting will be very, very important going forward. So it's going to be interesting to hear again what Powell's going to say as we head into that time. But other than that, bro, pretty easy week. I'm hoping we get some. I mean, based off what we see at the open, if you guys have checked some charts, there has been some early week volatility. Again, coming off that holiday, there's a lot of pent up volume, right? We know Thanksgiving was last week, so markets are kind of already off to a tear. So yeah, definitely excited to see what we got here.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. It's definitely going to be very interesting for sure. All right, but let me go ahead and catch up with the chat. And for any of the guys, man, if you guys do want to go ahead and and take over as well and really start looking at some markups, by all means, go ahead and do your thing. Let me go ahead and just check with the chat. That's fire. The Profit Society economic calendar, right? Yeah, 100%, guys. I know you guys are seeing right here. The boy Skags was able to embed, our own calendar onto our website, right? So for those of you guys that are now trying to get more into that fundamental side, right, and at least want to be aware of when news is happening, go right to our platform, right? Go right to the profitsociety.co, and go to the tools, economic calendars there, and leverage it, right? Again, it's very important, guys, for us to be, aware of when high impact news is going to happen so that we know what to do next, right? But it's definitely this is a definitely dope addition, guys, to the platform, especially for everybody that's already a member of the community. Start leveraging it. That's what it's there for. We also added a position size calculator as well for those of you guys that need help with calculating what lot size you should be throwing. So definitely take advantage of both of these tools, guys. Just added over the past weekend. And like I said, we've been saying this for a while, but we're going to continue to add, guys, a ton of new things to this platform. So make sure to be a member if you guys are not a member just yet. But besides that, like I said, whoever has any type of value, whether it's Kyle, Ray, what are you guys thinking? Definitely go ahead and you guys can take over and do y'all thing for sure.
Bet that. First things first, drop a 222 in the chat if you guys like that economic calendar. That's kind of tough. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm definitely gonna be using that as my sole economic calendar from now on. So, I hope you guys start tapping in with that and use that as majority of your sources of economic research. So with that being said, I'm not going to be on here too long. Really just going to go ahead and hop on the DXY real quick. Especially since we have a lot of dollar news, and like they said, it was Thanksgiving. NFP is this week. It's the start of December. So understand December is starting this week. So really what we're looking to see is whether or not December we'll start a new monthly candle and where that will end, right? So, currently the current monthly candle we're on right now has about 2 days and 22 hours left on the DXY. And this is one thing you guys need to like really pay attention to, as just a side note, that a lot of the times there are rapid moves that happen towards near the end of the closing of candles, right? So that's why we always say pay attention to candle closures, because a candle could be one way for the majority of the time frame, the 90%, right? Let's say it's a 1 hour candle, and for 55 straight minutes it's bullish, but the last 5 minutes can be bearish, right? And completely flip onto the other side and close bearish. So that's why it's very important to keep in mind what's going on with the monthly candle. So we have 2 days left on that. So to be honest, I feel like unless we get some crazy volatility right here, then it probably will just keep going to the downside. This is kind of like the last, my bad. This is kind of like the last point that the market can kind of see some continuation, unless we drop down into some lower territory, probably like this 100 level. So if we want to see some more dollar bullishness this year, then it would have to be here. Now, if it doesn't, then I would pretty much consider maybe taking some of this bearish pressure down up until we start reaching more discount pricing below this 100 level. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, my bias for now is gonna remain here. Now, at the end of the day, guys, I want you guys to realize that we still also don't have confirmation for this. So, I'm not actually taking any trade off of this right now. We are actually at entry point. This is actually one of the weird scenarios, where I mark up the dollar, especially on a weekly outlook call. I always mark up the dollar, and somehow I give you guys a zone, and maybe like Monday, Tuesday, or maybe even Thursday or Friday later on into the week, it'll hit trigger and then do its thing, right? But at the end of the day, guys, this is something that like is actually here right now. The thing is, if you would like to take a trade off of this right now, it's kind of like something that's already playing out. So I would wait for maybe New York to kind of continue that, give us a retracement, and then we can play like a low risk, high reward, playing like a very small, lower time frame low, and then we can catch our nice trade. But it's something that I am kind of paying attention to, because we want to at least have some confirmation on this trade. Really what I'm playing is this, right? The fact that we created this kind of sort of spring, and whatever you like to call it, I kind of see this as like this breaking structure, and potentially if this low holds, then it could, it is a possibility that we can have some upside movement, right? But at the end of the day, this is not yet confirmed yet. This low can easily just break down tonight, right? This could happen tonight. This low can completely just shatter. So that's why I'm not yet calling a trade on it. I would need to see price form a little bit better, right? I need to see some more confirmation within this range to show me that selling pressures is diminishing, and we can see some of that buying price action. As of right now, I mean, it's just a little bit more aggressive. And, the last point of area I could kind of see this thing bouncing off of is right here. So this is why I'm kind of being careful, right? We can take the buy. If you got an entry here, that's great. But I didn't. But, I feel like it can also reject from here as well. So you guys want to be mindful of that. Obviously, this is more on like the lower time frame, but it's still valid. Still very valid. The week just started. So, we definitely need some more data to confirm either one of these positions, right? Whether we're going to play this right here and then take us up, or, play that right there and just continue taking us down. Definitely curious to see what the dollar wants to do this week, but how that will actually translate to the charts. To be honest, I'm at a point where I'm kind of taking profit on EU sales. Right? I've been kind of buying. I mean, not sales, on the buys. I'm taking profit on the buys, and I'm actually looking for sells right now. Right. So I'm not in the buys anymore, but I'm looking for sells, because at this point in time, I kind of wouldn't be buying unless we reach some sort of discount area. Right. I would like to see price kind of sort of come down lower than this region, right? Like if we can come down to somewhere like this, that would be amazing, right? This kind of would be a trade I would take, like, and not even think twice about it. This is a trade that I would take and I would send to all of you guys and tell you guys to take it on your accounts as well, because that's what I would do, right? So, keep this in mind on EU, right? Mark this 4-hour candle. I will be playing something like that. But in the meanwhile, that could tap this week, or it could not tap this week. So, let's just see. My next play, I would say, is kind of something that's activating right now. Well, not right now, probably within like the next couple hours or so. But I'm gonna give you guys 2 levels for shorts on EU, right? You could take the first entry with like a half risk, and then the second entry, if it triggers, you could take it again with another half risk. So, why I'm doing this is because we can trigger the first entry and just drop and then just keep going. And at least we have an entry that we can, swing for about 200 pips, right? Give or take 150 pips, right? Good pips. And, at least we have that. Or, if it does kind of tap into a higher region up here, 10401, then we can go ahead and take that again. And, we would still have some more risk on the table to go ahead and do so. But yeah, I mean, this is pretty much all I got. DXY and EU. I'll kind of brush over USDCAD. I had to sell, it kind of hit my take profit, and then I just let go of it. So, at this point in time, with more price action developing, you guys can see that we played this more so, right? So we're in this counter trend buying structure. And if you were to ask me, I feel like maybe we can sell off from up here or up here, right? So those are the only areas that's worth taking a trade for me. Just being honest, I'm not going to be playing anything within this region unless I'll be playing like a continuation buy right here, which is kind of like a counter trend trade anyway. So with that being said, I would just prefer the sells. Go ahead and mark these zones on your chart. Be aware, study, backtest, understand why certain moves happen. And guess what? You can understand why they happen in the future. But yeah, USD CAD, EU, DXY, keep an eye on them for the rest of the week. Honestly, I'm gonna leave GU to some of the more surgical guys. You know, there's definitely some more speakers on here that'll get a lot more surgical with you guys, especially my man Ray, especially my man Skag. So, you know, if anybody else has any other charts, you know, I'd definitely be opening to see if anybody agrees, has anything else that they'd like to say. You know, maybe disagrees with one of my charts. You know, anybody that's on here that wants to share a chart, let me know. I am getting a call. Hold on.
Yeah, I'll hop on real quick. Just give me a sec to go ahead and grab the screen. Appreciate you. I actually took a sell on USDCAD like 10 minutes ago, and I definitely see what you see. I'm just kind of being, you know, me. I'm the type of guy, I got to see my hesitation in the imbalance. Here, I do see, you know, some liquidity right here that we actually took. So just with that, since I have internal range liquidity, I did decide to take this trade when it was like up here. So, you know, I took this like not even really 10, 15 minutes ago. I'm up like 15 pips or so. I'll personally be targeting these lows right here, at least just for a primary target. If it could go lower, that'll be dope. I'm also taking a look at this low right here. So for me personally, although the market did respect this area, well, let me bring it back just so we can see. Although the market did respect this area, I just don't necessarily view it as strong as, you know, other demand zones. So obviously I know there was a low that we were looking at to, you know, give us a reaction, but I do think there's a big difference between a reaction and a continuation. So for me, a low like this isn't going to cause the market to go and take up all of this price action we have up here. So just understanding that, you know, I'm looking at this low. It has some characteristics of a strong low, but it also has some characteristics of a weak low as well. So understanding that, I anticipate that this low is going to give me, you know, a reaction, but I don't think it's going to, again, necessarily go and break all of those highs up there. So, you know, obviously a Sunday, I took this with very low risk because I'm not trying to, you know, start the week off, you know, negative 1-2% or nothing like that. Literally took a fraction of a percent right here. So that way, you know, if the market does drop, I can get something. And if it, you know, hits my stop loss, I'm not really tripping. So that's pretty much my whole approach with USD CAD right now. I am in the sell. Again, took out this liquidity pool. We're respecting this high here. So I'll be interested to see what's going to happen. So far, so good. Obviously, anything can happen in these markets. However, you know, I am looking at, you know, lower pricing just for USD CAD for now, right? Now, as it pertains to GBPUSD, okay, because y'all know this is my pair. A lot of choppiness right now, you know. I kind of have some conflicting biases with this pair right now, so I don't really want to execute anything currently. I don't really see anywhere for me to buy off of, and I also don't see anything that's attractive enough for me to actually sell. You know, I could justifiably look at a sell in this area, but I could also, you know, see the market not respecting that high. And if I did take it, I'd just probably be mad that I took it. And, you know, whatever the case may be, if I actually lose that particular trade, you know, I'll probably be a little frustrated because, you know, it didn't have all of the characteristics that I like to see. So just with that, I'm going to pass on GU for now and kind of just focus on USD CAD. You know, we do take a look at the DXY. Obviously, you know, I do agree with the fact that, you know, we could see something here, but not sure why. You know, when this heavy bearishness there's a difference between just a sweep of liquidity and like a lot of bearish volume. I look at this as a lot of bearish volume, and I'd be surprised to see these lows hold it up. So for me, regardless if the market actually respects this area or not, I do believe that we can push down a little bit lower, possibly target this low. And once we sweep this low, I'd be surprised to see what happens down there, but I am looking for slightly lower prices on the DXY. So with that being said, I do want to see USD CAD push down a little bit lower, right? How low it will go, we don't really know quite yet, but I am looking for a reaction out of that area. And then, we'll go ahead and cross the other bridges when we get there. All right. So outside of that, I'm pretty much sitting on my hands. I don't see a lot. Euro AUD is not in the area that I'm liking. Neither is Euro USD. GBPUSD, that's pretty much the only other pair that I trade. And GA as well. GA is going very bullish. So I'm anticipating that probably all of this up here will be taken. But again, I do just need an opportunity because I can't buy high. So, I do need to see a retracement of some sort. Maybe we can actually push down and, take out some of these lows and target one of these points of interest down here. I'm not really sure. This is kind of a area and price where I don't really see much opportunity. So with that being said, I'm in one pair right now, and that's pretty much it for the day. All right. So if anybody else sees anything, y'all can go ahead and grab it, grab the screen. But that's all I got for now.
All right. So what's going on, family? What's going on? What's going on? Ray, my guy. I need that USD CAD to drop. Might have to be looking for a little re-entry myself on that. You feel me?
Hey, let's get right, man.
Honestly, the setup looks pretty clean. But what's going on, fam? How's everybody
Yes, sir.
doing?
I heard USD CAD.
Yeah, Ray said he's short on that, bro.
I'm short on that thing too, man. We gonna catch that this week.
Now I got two of these boys. But
Yep,
listen,
we are
what's
not
going
missing
on?
that
Listen,
thing.
let me get some ones in the chat, right? For Kyle and Ray, kind of throwing down while I get my chart set up here. One second. Oh, look at this! People chanting for oil in the chat. I got y'all. Listen, that's what I'm on right now. We got the oil right now. All right.
Yes, sir. Shout out my guy Christian, man. He's always catching your oil plays for sure. Shout out to you, bro, for catching them oil trades, man. For sure. He's definitely somebody that I've known for a long time, and he's paying bills off of oil. If you're paying your bills off of oil, drop a $sign in the chat, because honestly, I've been hearing a lot about oil. So who knows? Maybe I might be in that thing this week.
Yeah, oil fun to trade, man. I will say for people with lower balances, oil could be very volatile, which again is just why people like it, right? It's the same reason people will trade GJ and gold and everyone trying to catch that US 30 trend, because it's, it's a little bit more volatile, it's a little heavier, right? But yeah, what's going on, family? Listen, it's good to be back with you all. Good to see you guys active in the chat. I hope everybody had a great holiday, had a great weekend. I know I ate a lot. I enjoyed it, and I'm still kind of sort of recovering. So shout out to everybody. I do want to start. I guess we'll start with oil here because I know people want it. People have been asking for it, and to be quite honest, guys, there's a reason why I haven't really been looking at it, and that's because it broke my main bias. I can't even remember when we stopped trading it. I think it was around here. We had taken some buys off of some structure down here below these lows. And our idea was for it to, kind of come up and still capture some of this liquidity. And we did book partials here. This is when the whole little mishap in Poland happened. We scaled out some partials from our buys, and it came down and it kind of took me out from break even. And at that point, I really kind of just stopped looking at it because I'm not going to keep fighting, a trend over and over and over and buying every dip. At some point, you got to just throw in the towel And for me, the break of that level and us not holding from that demand and not really seeing any sort of uptick in buying was enough for me to kind of just throw the idea away. And usually when I throw a pair away, I generally like to give it a week or two to kind of, work itself out before I come in. Now, of course, once that happened, we got hit a break even. I could have just started selling, right? We could have started looking for opportunities to sell. But once we really broke this level, price never even really pulled back to a significant level for me to even play off of. So I wouldn't even like to say that I would have caught a majority of this down move again. Aside from what we talked about last week with it, possibly breaking or playing with this level, and then again coming and filling this week, this wick here, there would have been really no reason for me to have been trading this. So after we got hit at break even, again, I kind of just put it on the back burner. And now that it's doing some new stuff and it's in some fresher liquidity, I'm willing to add it kind of back to my watch list. So if you guys have been wondering why me personally, I haven't been looking at oil, that's why, right? I don't, I have my short list of things, which is maybe like 6 or 7 pairs and assets that I trade. But out of those 6 and 7, I'm usually only actively watching 2 or 3. And then when I drop one of those off my active trader list, I kind of pull again from that short list of 6 or 7 that I look at. So kind of giving everybody an update on this since it's been some time for me to actually look into it. We have come down and kind of broken this weekly wick. We kind of filled this out. And the real question now is like on the weekly, where are we headed to next? All right. So like, where's the next logical area to play? And below this wick, since we kind of failed to really sustain ourselves above this level, there's nothing really in this area aside from this one little candle here that I kind of want to take a look at. So again, with oil, it might come back onto my list, but realistically, I don't really want to do anything until we come down into this zone here, right? Because there's no point of interest, at least on this weekly time frame. I'm sure I could negate this down to a daily and 4 hour and come up with some sort of excuse to trade inside of here. But off the weekly bias alone, I fully expect us to come and test under, this line specifically. So with that in mind, again, I'm not really interested in selling it here. And I'm not really interested in buying it unless we come and test down here. So again, this is kind of going to be on my sidelines. That being said, though, if you are trading this and you kind of want my opinion, I probably would look to stay sell side until this 70.23 area. Again, we have Powell this week, we have NFP this week, so some volume can come in. Now, again, I'm not really interested in selling anywhere down here. So if you're not already managing oil shorts, I'm not advising that you particularly look for sells down here. I'm actually just telling you to sit on your hands. But if you are in from higher, because I know there are some people that were trading to the bearish side, if you do have positions from last week, maybe even the week before that you're managing and wondering where to get out, you're looking at about the 70 level. So again, this is not really going to be on my watch list. I'm going to knock this down to the daily just to see if there's anything else that I potentially like. We filled out this wick just before. Yeah. So, if you are buy side, again, pending the reaction that happens around lower time frames, you can maybe try off the idea that, again, now that you've grabbed liquidity below this wick and you're kind of trading off fresh demand, then maybe some demand does come in. But I'm not going to bet on that. It's not really the setup that I'm looking for. I would much rather come down and, again, test in this weekly area. And again, this daily area is a little bit more interesting to me as well. But I could see a reason why people are probably going to play this fresh demand, right? Every time new liquidity is grabbed, somebody somewhere is going to be playing it. So I'm going to just check out some of these lower time frames and see if there's really any reason. And the fact that it's testing below here early week is good too, because again, the likelihood that this continues on a tear right off a Sunday is pretty slim, but not impossible. So I don't really see anything. Yeah, this just very recently came off this level too. So we could actually see here that on like lower time frames, again, we're looking at this fresh liquidity here, right? Remember, this is below that daily wick. If we just take a look at what's happening just below this area, or at least in this relative area, because the range is extended a little bit past that area as well. If we're just looking at this relative area, we could see that buyers are beginning to kind of come into this market here. higher than the sellers. And the important thing that's happening in this area is that these sellers are actually it's actually a pretty big effort from them, right? This is all one candle. So they aggressively try to move price down here. And the buyers very clearly stepped in and absorbed it, erased that move, and did so on higher buying effort. So like, is there demand kicking in here? Yeah, there is, right? There are players that are playing down here, and off current data, they actually do have some strength behind them. Again, though, this is relative, right? It's Sunday, right? When the market's actually open on Monday, like maybe you do get some reactions, but like, is this going to hold longer term? Again, like I doubt it. And even if it does, even if you do get a really nice reaction off this level, more times than not, again, as you move into that Monday open, you're going to still play with this and you'll be able to still grab a re-entry. And if it continued just to fly, then shout out to these people that were actually playing down here. But yeah, I don't see any reason to believe that this would be like a sustainable low, or as Ray would call it, like a strong low. If it does turn into that, we'll adjust, but I'm going to still keep this on my, watch list and not really my active trading list. So that's just my opinion on oil. Again, I know a lot of you guys have been asking why I haven't been trading it, why I'm not looking at it anymore. And again, it's just because it's fallen behind in terms of like the things that I see opportunity on. All right, we missed the opportunity. The obvious selling would have been up here. I was more bullish than that. I didn't really get what I wanted, so be it. It's one of those times where my macro analysis wasn't as big of a hit as I wanted it to be. So yeah, that's on oil. Let me just catch up with the chat real quick, see if everybody's on board with that. You guys can let me know if you have various opinions or varying opinions, anything if you disagree, if you agree. Let me know. As always, you guys could drop charts in the back end of Profit Society. I'll be more than happy to take a look at them if they pertain to oil.
Yeah, no, I actually like
so
it
let me see
myself,
what we
bro. It
got.
looks really looks very interesting where it's actually located right now. Like you said, those pockets of liquidity, you can catch some nice bounces off of.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like if I didn't have this on my not on my active trade list, like I would probably take some stabs down here. I gotta just be honest, like with the daily wick fill, the fact that it's like a Sunday. Because the beautiful thing on like a Sunday is sometimes the volatility is so low, you can get like really tight stop losses. So if you're looking at this at the right times tonight, like say this even does just like create like a nice little trend and like you do get like a spring and it comes back above here, you could play in like this area like super, super tight. So even with like a small account, like you can get very, very aggressive at the proper time on this. And again, maybe you just get a reaction up to here. Maybe it ultimately again does fall, but you can catch really, really nice risk to rewards. Because again, even if you do get a spring here, let's just say the spring's like that, which is probably still wider than it should be. Yeah, you're looking at like 1 to 4s. You can always tighten this up to like 1 to 8s. So,
Nice little.
reactions could be made for sure. Let's see what the chat got.
Yeah. A nice little bear market rally could really come in.
Yeah, it's all going to depend on Powell because I'm sure the market and why the market opened up so aggressive this week too is 'cause I'm sure people are playing the rumor of whatever Powell's going to say going forward. Which is why you have dollar strength right now too. Let's see. That seems like it was so long ago. Is it just me? It was Eric. It was definitely been. It's definitely been like 2 weeks. If we take a look at the chart, like I mean, it's definitely been some time since we traded oil. Again, I like to give it some time, Yeah, it's like 12 days. It's like 2 weeks. Let's see. Would you say EU is playing out a type 2 redistribution? We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at EU in 1 second. Because I am still long EU and NASDAQ from 2 months ago. I don't know. The USDCAD looks like it's breaking down. What knows when where the knife settles. So that's the thing. Like nobody really knows, but you can make good estimated guesses. Especially if you're playing outside of liquidity pockets and you're expecting structure breaks. That's even better. Again, we play a game of probabilities, right? We don't play a game of knowing for sure. We just play a game of probabilities and then manage money in a way that projects that we will be profitable in the long term. So that's just trading summed up though. Check GJ, it's crashing. Yeah, I'm aware it's crashing. We'll take a look at that. I'm with the 70 level too. Yeah, I feel you, Warren. I really think we can come down to that 70. Perfect example of discipline and risk management with you holding off. Yeah, bro. I mean, listen, some again, I said this the other day. I feel like it was in the Profit Society chat, or maybe it was on like Discord or something, but I said this the other day, maybe it was even on stream, but there's a lot of people that will trade like a pair or an asset purely because they want to trade that pair or asset and not because that asset is ready to be traded. And like, don't let this go over your head, but there are people that will they look at GJ and they just want to trade GJ. It's not that GJ has a nice setup or that like it's ready, but like they really just want to take a trade on that pair for, I couldn't even tell you what reason. But sometimes you got to just be like, hey, like, yeah, I really love this asset. I really love this pair, but it's not ready to be traded. And if you don't have the discipline to put something aside and go to the opportunities that make more sense, then you probably won't make it long term in the game. So, you know, write that down, live by that. It's major, because a lot of people just be trading stuff because they want to trade it and not because it's ready to be traded. But administration said they're interested in buying when price is around 65. Yeah, that's because they drain the reserves. So they really need oil to drop to 65. I think GJ is giving buyers better price. Nice drop though. I seen oil make those moves late. What would be my re-entry for USDCAD? I'm not in USDCAD. I know I said I would look for an entry based off of what Ray was looking at, but to be quite honest with you, I think what Ray got is what Ray had, and we're gonna have to just miss out on that. But if I was going to, yeah, this just looks too clean, bro. This looks too clean. This is not gonna come back.
That's exactly what I got it off of.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's too clean. Like, I don't know. To see, the thing with this is like, if this comes back, I wouldn't want to be in the trade. Right?
Facts.
Like, that's the type of trade that it is. Like, see, and even Ray agrees with me. So it's not even like, if this does come back to this entry, some people are like, oh, it's at the same entry. The trade's got to still be valid. And it's like, no, that's wrong. This is like the type of zone that it should move smooth like this from. And if it does come back, that might imply that, you know, the reaction off of it was just that, a reaction. So yeah, really, to be honest with you, the way this is moving, I wouldn't even really want to see this come back for me. I'd rather just see Ray eat off this early week, and that's that. Yeah, I would rather see this thing move all night long, and like, I would need to see it break below here before I want it to pull back. Because like, once it breaks below here and then creates like more market structure and liquidity to then come back and get sweep like that, like then we could look at like a re-entry. But in its current state, if this just came back up, I probably wouldn't want to be in the trade. So as of right now, I don't really have a re-entry for you on USDCAD. You know, beautiful trade by Ray. If you're able to get in it, great. But right now, as far as I'm concerned, that's a trade that I missed. So let's take a look at EU, because let's see who asked in the chat real quick, because I want to give you your credit for this. Finding this should be fun. Yeah, so Eric said, would you say EU is playing out as a type 2 distribution? And distribution is a trading range that usually resolves in selling, right? So he's saying that the trading range up here could potentially work out in a way that price continues to move lower. For those of you that are not familiar with like Wyckoff logic and trading ranges like that. But if you hang around this channel, if you hang around the community, trust me, I will drive it into your heads, because that is the way I trade. So let me just get rid of my long-term buy entry here, and let's just take a look at what's going on. All right, so first things first, this liquidity level don't matter no more. This liquidity level don't matter no more. The arrow don't matter. And then this higher side liquidity has been taken. So we just put a little check mark to remind myself. That check mark just reminds me that, you know, structure was broken, liquidity was taken. Again, not super relevant to current price action, but it is important for the overall trend. You know, we have our range highs and our range lows here. So we can really have one test to the bottom. This is a level we've been looking at since last week. So this is an area that I expect price to move to. This is something I call a lone candle that I cover in the way that I trade. And usually we expect price to pull back to these areas, right? And a lone candle is just a single bearish candle in an uptrend, right? So you have an uptrend and you have one candle, which is a bear candle, and every other candle in the trend is bullish, right? So if we take a look at this, there's 1, 2, 3, bullish candles and a bearish candle. It's all by itself. There's nothing else there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So it's the lone candle all by itself. Typically, this is where I look for prices to pull back to in corrections, right? So when you're talking about market structure, you're talking about like a bullish trend, right? I'm talking about this low happening on that lone candle, right? So if I were to just draw this out again like this, right, come down below that candle and then continue up, right? So this remains an area of interest right away. So do I expect price to move lower? Yeah, because I still expect this candle to get taken. I'm not really looking to buy until this candle gets taken. Now, with this being a type 2 distribution, if you're looking at the 4-hour time frame, which you'd have to if you were looking at this. I mean, you could look at the 1 hour, but the range doesn't change, right? This is still the range high, this is still the range low. I wouldn't say you know what this is yet because there's just not enough information here, right? Because if you're looking at this from a Wyckoff standpoint, you have like your buying climax, your AR, your ST. So this is completely an unresolved range. You're not in any sort of phase C environment, so therefore there is just no potential for it being a type 2. Now, if you were looking at like this smaller range here, yeah, like I could see how you would say this like internal range, I guess you could call it, is potentially working out as like a type 2. All right, talking about like this, and then like now you're moving down from that. But really the most important thing about EU for me is going to be just this lone candle and the fact that we are continuing to make declining buying action, right? So every time we come up to these highs, right, right, the buying effort is less and less, which again just reinforces the idea that we are going to, you know, still distribute out, and the buyers are really not active up here. So with no increase in buying activity, again, I do expect EU to fall. We do have Powell this week. We do have NFP, and I expect Powell to, you know, lean again towards that stronger dollar, right? The comments that are going to come out of his mouth are more than likely going to be of what they've been saying already. They're going to look to increase target rates, right, into 2023 and 2024. Unless he says something that really makes the market believe they're going to be doing a 50 basis point, he should be speaking nothing but positivity into the dollar, right? Driving that idea that the Fed, again, will remain aggressive on rates. So with that expectation, I do expect price to make its way down to this level. Really thought this was going to hit last week, but, you know, just didn't happen. Or the week before that, I mean. So I don't really see anything on this that I would want to take advantage of in terms of the sell side. If I was going to look at like a pocket of liquidity to play in, I mean, I know there's going to be a bunch of people that try in this area, but to be quite honest with you, I think these people get like just taken out. Kind of like what we're seeing right now on USDCAD, where you get that nice little push right up into this liquidity pocket up here, and then from there we could fall. So if you are going to look at shorts on EU, I'm probably going to look at just above this level to here. And then ultimately on an idea like this, your stop loss is probably going to want to be the high. But to be honest with you, I'd probably even try to tighten this up. I mean, this is already 15 pips. I mean, like how much more do I want to tighten this up? But I would probably look to tighten it up like, you know, maybe to this point. Again, I want to see what actually happens up here. But for a 15 pip stop, like I might as well just run the full thing. So yeah, I'd be looking at something like that. The obvious problem I have with this setup and why I won't run my stop loss like something like this is because if we don't hold in this general area right here, we're 1,000% gonna fill this wick. And that's like my biggest problem with like even selling. Now I'm gonna be true to you guys. I probably won't look for the sell, even though that's what I'm leaning towards. And what I think is like the most logical thing is to like look for a setup like this. And again, this is like a 1 to 18. So again, like maybe no need to really tighten this up. It's already kind of a banger of a trade. I know Ray's gonna be like, bro, if you could tighten that up, tighten it up. Because Ray'd be like, if you can get the 1 to 26, man, let's get the 1 to 26. But it looks good regardless. But yeah, that's what I would be looking for. Again, though, guys, you guys know I am long-term bullish. Now, I wouldn't say long-term, but it's been turning into longer and longer term as we believe that the Fed will eventually come to a conclusion of reducing their, interest rates from 75 basis point hikes to 50, it really makes me want to hold, like, the likelihood that we come back down to 96 is getting slimmer and slimmer. So I do like to remain buy side personally. I know some people might disagree with that, but that's a setup I'd be looking for nonetheless on EU. Let me just see what the chat got. Let me know if you guys like it. Let me know if you don't like it. Again, no, just my personal opinions. Let's see what we got. So true. Sometimes an asset or pair just isn't ready for trading. Too much uncertainty. Yeah, man. Listen. I'm telling you guys, don't let that gem go over your heads. It's important. It's important. Don't be forcing stuff. I think everyone likes them oil trading. That's a fact. The money is in the entry. Actually, beyond popular belief, the money is in the exit, family. The money is in the exit. I would say, listen, a lot of you, not even you, a lot of people over the years have like messaged me about, what they should do with their position. A lot of people message me, oh, I sold EU. I'm up 40 pips. When should I close? Like, there's so much, I don't know. There's so many things out there on trading about getting the perfect entry, getting the perfect entry, getting the perfect entry, but you don't really get paid until you close it. Right. So never forget that. The money is really in the exit. If you don't close your trade, technically speaking, you don't make nothing. Right. There's a lot of trades I'm in on EU right now. I'm still holding this. I'm up a lot of pips, but I could just hold this thing forever and the market could just do something like this and I didn't make a dime off of that. So remember, the money is, it's not only in the entry, but it's also in the exit. There's a lot of people that made a lot of money in 2022, 2021 off crypto and stocks, but they never sold. And here we are in 2022 where prices are below where they were. And all those people that thought they made money didn't make nothing. So yeah, just a little tidbit there. That smaller range is what I was looking at. Yeah, if you're looking at that smaller range, bro, it's got type 2 characteristics. I'll take a look at NAS in a second, bro, and then that'll probably be it for me. I don't know if Abel got anything or anybody has any additional thoughts. Can you guys look at CAD JPY? I'm looking to get in for a short, long term. Okay, I had to read that slow. I almost confused myself. Okay. Any reason why you guys use FXCM charts? No, not specifically. I mean, as long as it's accurate to your broker, it doesn't really matter. The truth is, I actually use a bunch of different charts. I mean, for most things, I just use the first thing available. But if I go to like different charts, you'll actually see different analysis on different charts because sometimes, like all my main analysis is on Euro FXCM. But if I wanted to explain something to you guys without like deleting my stuff, I'd normally go to a different one. But most of these are the same. They don't really differ too much, to be quite honest with you. Sometimes for oil and gold, that's the case. Sometimes for NASDAQ, maybe crypto, you probably want to use the Bitfinex charts because that's who the LP is. But typically, that don't matter too much. Cool. So let's go over NASDAQ real quick. And then that'll probably be it for me. And I'll pass it over back to one of these other boys to finish up. But let's take a look at the NASDAQ. Let me just delete some of this other stuff from previous weeks. Well, some of those levels are important, but we'll go over them again, I guess. This got taken. That's cool. All right. And that got taken. That's still important. Okay, these are trades we're still active in, by the way. Again, holding these for about 2 months now. All right, so let's take a look at the NASDAQ. So on the daily, again, guys, we have recent liquidity being grabbed. That's what this check mark means, right? We've grabbed recent liquidity above this wick. And ever since then, we've kind of been stuck back to a trading range, right? So obviously this liquidity matters. It had an impact. And the idea now is like, okay, so what's actually happening up now that we've grabbed this liquidity, right? Are we accumulating? Are we distributing? What is actually happening up here? And what's the next move? So this is going to be a lot similar to EU. I will note that there's no obvious like loan candle here. We were looking at this candle on NASDAQ in comparison, but this has already been taken. So it's not really worth talking about anymore. But what I really want to just kind of bring to everybody's attention is just obvious liquidity, right? Obvious liquidity build up here, right? There's no clean swipe of this before we took off. Again, we can also see that this move itself is not really based in a lot of buying activity. So again, the fact that it's faded off from here is quite obvious to me. So the real question is again is like, we're probably going to want to trade towards this liquidity, right? Which is what the hourglass means, right? Liquidity that's yet to be captured. This is liquidity that has been captured. So I will expect this to potentially come under here. Now, my problem with this 4-hour chart is there's really nothing, any sort of POI over here, right? This is just a bunch of inefficient, imbalance, fair value gap nonsense. There's really nothing here on this time frame. So I'm gonna just see if I can manipulate the data a little bit, see how we come to a 2-hour now, and we get like a long candle. That's what I mean by manipulate the data, right? Looking at the same move, but it's just a different time frame. We come to a 1-hour. It's still pretty much a lone candle. You might argue there's a bearish candle here, but since this is at the same level in both time frames, I'm considered pretty valid. I'm gonna just go to the daily. Yeah, there's just imbalance everywhere there. And the 15 minutes. Okay, I just want to make note of this 15-minute candle as well. So let's use this 2-hour chart because we do have a POI on here at the very least for us to look at. This is where the 15-minute candle is. Okay. All right, so we'll probably take a look at this level again. Does this mean I'm immediately going to buy off of this? No, it just means this is where I expect price to move to before I get into the habit of just chasing buys for no reason, right? Because again, I want to be below this liquidity. I'm just looking for the nearest POI based off the rules that I use for trading, which again are these lone candles, wick fills, etc., etc. And this again is just the most logical area for me to look for a reaction off of. Another thing we can do, which I know has become recently popular with some of you guys on here, is actually using, I can never find it. Did I add it down here? I added it down here, right? The volume behind this move, which I'm probably going to include most of those highs. Yeah, see, that was my worry. All right, let's just use the recent leg. All right, just looking at the volume in that leg. Yeah, see, a lot of the volume in this move lives around here too, which is again the idea behind that lone candle. So I'm going to stay with this level. All right, looking at this. So I'm going to just label this so I don't forget what it is. 2-hour lone candle, looking for reaction, going bullish. All right, so just a little bit note to myself of what I'm looking for and what that looks like in terms of like a path. As you guys know, again, I don't really care if we move up or whatever, but whatever the path way down to this area is, and again looking for like lower time frame demand to come in and then optimal risk to reward for us to continue those buys. Now if I don't get again the reaction and the buying volume behind that, then we don't get a trade, right? Then we expect all of this to kind of fill out. But if we get that, we execute, and yeah, we look for some of these higher levels to get taken, again, potentially still looking at some of this inefficiency and imbalance, but until we see a reason to go back bullish, that's not really useful to you guys. So yeah, so that's what I see on the NASDAQ. Abel, Kyle, Ray, if you guys have anything you want to chime in with, now's your time, and I'll just check out the chat real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
See what we got.
Yeah, I mean that looks very, very interesting for sure. Especially that 2-hour lone candle where the volume profile is indicating a lot of the volume was at. So that looks pretty juicy.
Yeah, I mean the again, like the volume thing isn't even really necessary, but it does like double confirm that again that there was sustainable demand that came in at that level. What tool is that? Yeah, so it's over here at the long short position. It's called fixed range volume profile. Just to show you guys how this works. First off, let me get a 1 in the chat if you use this tool, and let me get a 2 in the chat if you've never seen it, never used it, and this is about to be new to you. All right, because I just like to know who I'm talking to, because if I know that a lot of you already use it, we can kind of get on with how to use it rather than what it is. But if you don't need to know what it is, y'all know I got you. So let me get a 1 in the chat if you use it, because I like to know who's actually using it already. Fixed range volume profile, and a 2 in the chat if you've never used it. And I'll kind of quickly break this down. So what this first off, what this does, right? Again, right in the name, fixed range volume profile. Fixed range means you get to pick the range. So when you have the tool up, you can click once to start the range, click a second time to end the range. And what it's going to do is give you the volume at certain price levels within that fixed range, right? So within those two areas that are marked out, this is where the most volume occurred in that trading range. So rather than just telling you when the most volume happened, which is what this does, right? This shows you when on what candle. This shows you at what price the most activity happened. And that doesn't necessarily mean it's always buys or sells. It's actually a combination of both. Although you can see on here, there are, you can see the up volume in blue and the down volume in yellow. So if there's more, yellow, that means there was more selling pressure at that level than there was actually buying. But again, your goal here is to find just the most voluminous point. So I see where there's a lot of twos in the chat. Not many people have actually used this. That's okay. Now, for those of you guys that trade using like Wyckoff logic or any sort of smart money concept where you're looking at trading ranges primarily, let me just go back to Euro USD real quick. If you're looking at like a very specific trading range, let's just use this one, so to speak. And you're looking for like that phase C or the LPSY or a spring or a liquidity grab or a stop hunt, right? Whatever the terminology uses. What you could typically do is you just grab the beginning of the range towards to where the range resolved, and resolved meaning where it actually broke out. So we could see the range broke out below these lows. So we use up to that point. And this is going to show you where the most volume happened in that. And you can see that, again, we're only using the data from here and here, right? But we could also see where the most volume happened in that trading range, in that distribution. So when it came back for a retest of that price level, obviously what happened was, because this is a distribution and drive selling, once again that liquidity and that volume level was tested, it fell. So you can see, again, perfectly aligns. If you know how to, again, spot a trading range when it starts and when it ends, it could be immensely useful. Let me see if I could just find like more examples of resolved trading ranges here. Let's see, this is just a really ugly top here. Let's go to something random like GJ. We'll just give another example of a resolved trading range. Time frame a little bit. Okay, so that's just now resolving, which doesn't help us. All right, we might as well just use this. Yeah, let's just use this upper range here in the 5 minute. All right, so even if we're looking at, again, a 5 minute range, right? So the range starts here, it ends here when this low is broken, it's resolved. Again, that's where the majority of the volume happened, and it's no surprise that, again, this is where the most trading activity happened. Is it the absolute peak? No, but it lets you know to be aware of things like that. Obviously, with things like this too, you could play the order block that's sitting here, the imbalance fill. There's other reasons, but when you combine it with everything, again, you'll know what price level the most volume is at. And again, we're only using data to here. So this actually went on to continue to create a low, and then you'd be expecting the pullback. And again, you'd be looking at this level for it to pull back to. So by the time it came up here, you can begin to assess the situation and go from there. So again, that's really quickly on how to use this tool. Sometimes you'll see me use it. Most times you won't see me use it because, again, is it necessary? No. There are many other signs that you could look at in here to find that same kind of trade idea. But again, for those of the people that want to use it, it is there. So yeah, that's what that tool is. That's what I see on the NASDAQ. Yes, guys, my trading view, it doesn't show the volume indicator on EU. Honestly, you should just screenshot that and post that in the community so I could take a look at it. Because without seeing what you're seeing, it's going to be difficult for me to troubleshoot. But yeah, post in the community, bro, and I'll be more than happy to take a look and find out why. I'm willing to bet it's just the feed. But yeah. Let's see. Beautiful. Cody, shout out to you, bro. Always showing love. Appreciate it. Abel, Ray, Kyle, you guys got anything else? Because if not, we'll take questions from the community, man. Sounds like a good week. We got some good setups going.
I mean, I'm interested in.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I actually got a play that I actually wanted to share as well. Something that I'm gonna keep my eye on going into tonight. It's just a quick little short opportunity here on gold. I think we have a good potential to see this thing come down and target all this sell side liquidity that I think is built below, these essential lows down here. So, and obviously with these equal lows that were also created, I think a nice opportunity. I'm just gonna be quick with this too, guys. Right, I'm not gonna get too in depth with breaking it down. You guys can pretty much overall just see what I'm looking for, right? But I think I want to see price come back up a little bit higher. I mean, there is a chance for the market to really drop from this area right here, especially if we do end up closing below previous candle lows. I mean, this thing could really trigger from right there, right, and just start dropping. But what I want to see personally is I would like to see this market actually come up near, my kill zone up here. That's more so where I would be very, very interested in more than anything, just because I think we would want to possibly come and just run this, little area of liquidity above here. Run this high is really what I would be very interested in, seeing the market come up to these levels. And then from up there, I would love to look for that downside overall. But again, that's just me trying to play the extremes. The markets doesn't always play the extremes, right? And when I'm talking about extremes, I'm talking about extremes of these trading ranges that we have. We have swing high all the way to swing low, right? Our extreme high, our extreme low. And then we have our midpoint, which is probably, right where price is pretty much playing at. Now, there is a chance for the market, like I said, to really just continue dropping from this midpoint, right? And if it happens, it is what it is. If you are going to be able to jump into that, again, I truly see us taking out all this liquidity below these equal lows for sure sometime tonight. So yeah, again, I'm not in anything right now. This looks very good though. It looks like it might really want to start dropping from these levels. But if the market does give us another pullback, all right, I'm going to start to look for some shorts again on gold somewhere above these, somewhere around the 1752 level, if we can get up there. All right, again, that's just me trying to play, closer to the extreme highs up here, more than anything, right? Just to give me that, a better risk reward type of opportunity, right? So if we can see something like this, then I will be, interested in go ahead and writing this thing down much lower. Because I think targeting down to this 1740s, guys, is a very good opportunity here for gold. So that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm gonna be paying attention to. Again, I'm not in anything just yet. I'm gonna be patient now to see if we can get this pullback. I'm not sure. Again, this thing looks like it's dropping right now, crazy, but we're just gonna be patient. We're just gonna be patient. Let the market see if we can get that pullback for us. And if we get it, amazing. If we don't, it is what it is, right? It's the start of the week either way. I know we're going to have an absolutely phenomenal week for sure this week, family. And I'm excited to see exactly what we're able to actually go ahead and get. I mean, how many of you guys are excited for this week? I don't know about y'all, but I know I'm super excited, right? But how many of you guys are excited, guys? Go ahead and drop a 2 in the chat. How many of you guys are actually funded, right? Like have your broker account funded, right? With some type of capital in it. How many of you guys are excited to be able to trade live with us, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday for New York session live, right? These Asian streams, guys, at least for, some of us on the call is mainly more so based around analysis, right? Where the New York sessions is all about execution, all right? Execution, right? So I'm excited to see exactly how this thing plays out this week. And I'm excited to see you guys as well on Monday or on Tuesday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so that we can actually execute during New York session when a lot of us really do lock in and actually really go ahead and trade for sure. All right, so I'm excited, but that's the play that I'm gonna be looking for going to tonight, guys. Is the one I wanted to give you guys as well. So if we can get that play, then that'll be dope. If not, then it is what it is, right? We'll come back. We'll be in the chat or at least in the community anyways, talking it all up. Right, but that's pretty much what I have, right? I'm not sure if anybody else on the team, if Ray, Kyle has anything else that they wanted to go ahead and contribute. I'm not sure if they do, but if they don't, it's cool. All right, just go ahead and unmute yourself if you did. If not, then I'll just go ahead and close this out. All right, so family, we do appreciate you guys for actually jumping on tonight's call. Again, it was another banger. Rewatch this if you came on late. There are a few different opportunities that, was actually called out for you guys. So again, if you jumped on a little bit late, then definitely go ahead and just take a look at the recording. Go rewatch this, right? Go find those good looking setups, those good opportunities, and see if you can actually go ahead and take advantage of it. All right, but besides all that, guys, like I said, we will be back live, on Tuesday, New York session. Right? I think we're gonna be going live earlier than we have been. Right? My goal is to go live around 7 o'clock, so I'm gonna be going live regardless for you guys around 7:30. right? Just so that we can go ahead and have ample amount of time to actually go ahead and execute on some opportunities, right? So I'm excited for that for sure, family. So I look forward to seeing you guys all inside the Profit Society community. I see you guys. I look forward to seeing you guys as well on the New York streams with us this week. Like I said, I have a lot of confidence that we're going to have a phenomenal week. So, yeah, make sure to show up. But all right, family, love you guys. We appreciate y'all. Thank you guys for showing up. And we'll talk to you guys all inside of the community. Let's get it. Have a great rest of y'all day.